Hey everybody, welcome back. I just have a quick update to give you because I'm in the middle of packing. I'm actually driving back up to Chicago for Flashback weekend, but it's like 2 days on the road. I still have a lot to do this evening before I leave tomorrow, so I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. I hope I don't leave out any details. If I do, I apologize. Two new announcements from Scream Factory of two double feature releases coming out. The first one is of Naked Vengeance from 1985 and Vendetta from 1986. And they're like woman revenge type films. And now, to my knowledge, I don't think it's going to have any extras. I think it's basically just the two movies. I'm not seeing anything that says, extras to be announced. So I think it's basically just a double feature release of those two. And the other one, which I did notice a lot of people are very excited about, is Munchies and Munchie. So Munchies from 1987 and the sequel Munchie from 1992, which is kind of funny, the fact that Munchies with an S is the first one and Munchie singular is the sequel. So, but I saw a lot of people get really excited, especially for the first one. I know that's actually one that has been really requested a lot over the years. A lot of people who kind of grew up on it. So both Munchies and Munchie, it'll be a double feature release. And again, unfortunately, I don't think there's any extras on it. I could be wrong. It doesn't look like there is. It doesn't say anything about extras to be announced. It's kind of unfortunate. At the very least, you get the two movies. So Naked Vengeance and Vendetta, that double feature is due out on November 13th, while Munchies and Munchie is due out on November 27th. The Munchies and Munchie release is actually coming out the same day as the Critters release. So if you like your little creatures, you're going to have a lot of options on that day. Also from Scream Factory, a little quick update on Creepshow. I just did want to confirm too that that new transfer that's coming on the Creepshow release is actually from the original camera negative. And it was approved by the director of photography, Michael Gornick, who, if you don't know, also shot several of George Romero's films from that time. I'm so excited for that release. I can't wait for, because I've always known the film could look better. And there was an interview with the two guys from Scream Factory, and they said that it really just looks amazing. That the colors specifically, because the other previous release, the previous Warner Brothers release, but even like the DVD release from years ago and stuff. I always kind of felt the colors were pretty muted, and I used to think maybe it was just the film stock that was used, because there was a time in the 70s and early 80s, the film stock used for a lot of films wasn't really that good. There was a sort of transition time from when films went away from Technicolor, and they were trying to find inexpensive film stock to use on film. So that's why a lot of times, a lot of the films from mid to late 70s and for about the first half of the 80s, especially low budget films, but even some big budget films, they can look, the colors aren't quite as vibrant, and they're also a lot grainier than other films, even though they were shot on 35 millimeter. And a lot of that had to do with also the way films were printed. I mean, it's not even the fact of how the films were shot. So that's why this being transferred from the negative rather than from, let's say, an interpositive or something, you're getting the, again, the original raw image. So we should get something that, I'm very excited to see how this looks. I don't know, because I've seen the film in 35 millimeter projected and stuff, and even when I saw it, not as a kid, but when I was older, this was a couple years ago. And I just noticed the colors, especially at the time was the Blu-ray out yet when I saw it or not? But I do remember though that between the DVD and the Blu-ray that the colors were just not as, I don't want to say intense, because it's not Suspiria, but it's just the fact that it just looked muted. So I'm very excited for Creepshow, and I can't wait to see how it looks. I hope it's not too boosted as far as the colors go. I hope it still has a look that is fitting for the film. But the fact that Michael Gornick, did approve the transfer, does give me hope there. Speaking of transfers, Scorpion releasing had announced, this was on the Blu-ray.com forums. Scorpion Releasing said that the new limited edition of Opera that is coming out, which still doesn't have a release date, but they are now starting to get closer. There was some concern regarding a couple shots. I believe it's early on in the film where there was a jitter to a couple shots, and it wasn't sure whether or not the jitter was something that could be fixable. Was it an in-camera mistake? For example, was it a loose shutter or something in the camera? And, you know, when stuff like that happens, like, that's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about that. Or was it something else? So supposedly the jitter is either fixed compared to the single release, which came out several months ago, or at the very least it's not as apparent as I guess it was before. And I believe it was an audio issue. I don't remember all the details about this. I think it was an audio issue, and I believe that has been corrected as well. And also, obviously, there is a new encode that is being done for this release. The encode may even be done actually by this point, in which case we could really be getting close to getting a release date on that. And the thing is, with this, it's a limited edition. It'll be I don't know if it'll be exclusive to Ronin flicks or not, or if it'll be Ronin and Diabolic. It's not a release that'll go on Amazon, though. At least I'd be very surprised if it did. And of course, that's kind of the announcement that they'll make, almost like, here, it's going to be out, like, you know, next Wednesday, that you can go order it. So, because I didn't get the single disc release, you know, I've been waiting for this limited release for a long time, and I'm a huge fan of Opera, and I'm hoping we're getting closer to that. But I just want to give you that little update on that. Also, what has been unofficially announced, but kind of announced, is that Lionsgate is releasing the new 4K, actual 4K UHD release of John Carpenter's Halloween. And it looks like the other releases that Lionsgate is putting out, believe it or not, might actually be Sam Raimi's original Evil Dead in 4K UHD and Evil Dead 2 in 4K UHD. There hasn't been the full official announcement yet, so I don't know what's actually going to be on it. Or anything, if it's even going to have any extras, or if it's mainly just going to be the movie only in 4K. So it'll be interesting to see too how Evil Dead will look, because of course Evil Dead was shot on 60mm. So if it's a 4K transfer from the original 16mm negative, as opposed to, you know, like a 35mm blow up negative that was created, then that actually could look quite stunning. I mean, so I don't know. I have to kind of wait and see once the official announcement comes out. And also, one minor update on the MVD Rewind release of Lionsgate. I mentioned in a previous video that they were putting out a replacement disc because there was an audio mess up on the theatrical cut, and they went through and they actually released a replacement disc, and I actually just got mine the other day, and unfortunately the replicator screwed up. So the first time it was actually, I believe, if I remember the timeline thing, is that MVD actually, they did a last minute change on the disc before they went to pressing, and that is what kind of screwed up the audio. They fixed it, and then they sent that to the replicator to make all the replacement discs, and the replicator company replicated the old file rather than the new file. So it's actually on them. So the replicator is now going through and replicating new ones. So as soon as there's an update on the new replacement disc, so I guess this would be the new replacement disc, then hopefully I hope I don't have to go through and just send in all my information again. I'm kind of hoping that basically, like, look, if you sent your information in already, we already have it, and we're just going to send you the disc. Now the DVD, so if you got a replacement disc, the DVD is corrected, the Blu-ray is not. Just want to let you know on that, you know. And the thing is, it's a hard, you know, when you're an independent company, I mean, unfortunately mistakes happen. Anyway, I have so much to do tonight to get ready for Flashback Weekend. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do, because I'm going to be at because I'm not going to have, obviously, unless I do a video from my phone or anything and try and upload it, if I can, but then I'm at the mercy of hotel, you know, Wi-Fi, which, you know, as I'm sure some of you know, that's yeah. I don't know how well that's gonna happen. But you know, if something big happens and it's just something, it's like a quick like 2-minute video, I can just kind of put together on my phone and upload it. I will. So I'll see what I can do. And when I can, after I'm back, which I mean, I'm hoping to be back Monday night at some point. Kind of thing. So at some point next week, ideally, I'm going to try and do a flashback recap video for anyone interested. Thank you for watching. As always, like the video because it does help the wacky YouTube algorithm. If you're interested in this video, and the thing is, this channel is not just video release updates. It's just something I like doing. And for right now, it's just, I don't know. They're fun to do, and for the most part, they're kind of easier to do than some of the other stuff I'm going to be doing. But please subscribe if you're interested. And yeah, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. If you have any comments or anything, I'm going to try and respond when I can, but because I will be out of town, I may not be able to really respond to anything until after I'm back. So just a heads up on that. But thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.